Hi there guys, Vino here and welcome to this Vino Plonk production and welcome to this long overdue video. I've been wanting to do this video ever since I started playing this game, and that game is of course Metroid Dread. However, I started playing through it a second time on hard mode, so a little bit of a spoiler. When you play the game or complete the game for the first time, you unlock a hard mode, and I started playing through hard mode, really enjoying hard mode, so I decided to play through hard mode and then give my thoughts and opinions on the game. If you haven't guessed already, this is going to be my thoughts and opinions, and you could call it a review on Metroid Dread. So literally about 5 minutes ago I got done playing through the game on hard mode, and I think I'm ready to give my thoughts and opinions on Metroid Dread. So straight up, I am going to say there are spoilers for previous games in the series because this is a continuation of Metroid Fusion, and I can't really talk about some of the aspects of this game without talking about Metroid Fusion. The first part of this video is going to be me keeping it relatively spoiler free, and then at the end I'll do a little bit of a cut off and I'll say, right after this point, anything said in this segment is going to be purely spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled about the game, tune off at that point. So the story behind Metroid Dread. So Samus thinks she has wiped out all of the X in the whole universe, but it turns out there are still some X residing on a mysterious planet called ZDR, or ZDR if you prefer. The Galactic Federation, I do believe, gets a video of proof that X still exists in the galaxy. So Samus goes on a final mission, air quotes. All of the promotional material said this was going to be Samus's final mission, so she goes on a final mission to track down the last of the X and eliminate them for good. That's the premise of the story, and of course it goes to different places and what have you. It stays on the same planet, which for some people that's either a good or bad thing. There have been previous Metroid games where it has travelled to different locations, but this stays in the same planet. However, we'll move on to environments first, shall we? Bit of a weird way to start, but the different environments on this planet are spectacular. There's a nature kind of woodsy area, there's a mechanical hot area, there's a water area. All the areas in the game are top notch. They are varied enough to keep you interested, and we're now going to move on to very quickly the mechanics and how the game feels. It feels bloody lovely. So the thing about this game, and the main thing I want to get across with my thoughts and opinions, is how the game trains you as a player to play the game better. So my completion for easy mode, if you want to call it normal mode, was 10 hours, just over 10 hours. My completion for hard mode was just under 7 hours. So I managed to cut 3 hours worth of gameplay. How did I do that? Because the game does such a good job of teaching you how to play the game better, and the controls are so tight, so smooth, that it almost feels like Samus is an extension of you. Obviously, with any Metroid game, as you go through the game, you unlock more and more abilities, and as you get accustomed to those abilities, they just become a natural part of what you do with Samus. They integrate so well. The other thing I want to say when it comes to Metroid Dread is this is the first 2D Metroid that's had a controller that's had enough buttons to really space out all its abilities. And that really helps with a game like this. You get things like a grapple beam, you get things like missiles obviously, but they are mapped to buttons where once you learn the buttons, the muscle memory kicks in and it just becomes an absolute breeze to play when it comes to mechanics and how the game feels. Let's move on to the Dread part of the game. So the whole Dread part of the game is that the Galactic Federation did send a team to ZDR and found out, well, the team, they lost contact with the team, simply put. When Samus arrives on the planet, she discovers that all is not what it seems. They've also sent these robots called Emmys. When Samus first touches down on the planet, she finds the Emmys are volatile, aggressive towards her. And that's where the dread part of the game comes from. So this is going to be a bit of a spoiler for Metroid Fusion. But in Metroid Fusion, Samus has to have her suit surgically removed. It gets put in a bin or a vat somewhere. It then ends up coming alive as the SAX, which is your principal villain, I suppose, in Super Metroid. Sorry, Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion, sorry. They wanted to take that gameplay, that mechanic, and expand upon it. I find the Emmys extremely infuriating, but I think they're supposed to be infuriating. Anytime you're about to go through an Emmy area, you go, oh, not an Emmy area. And I think that's what's supposed to happen. But as you play through the game, you get better and better at avoiding Emmys. I was far better avoiding them during my hard mode playthrough than I was my normal mode playthrough. They are an intrinsic part of the game, and they're actually one of the ways that Samus ends up gaining some of her abilities. So they are what they are, but I will say they are frustrating. On the note of frustrating, this is by no means an easy game, and all hard mode does is increase the damage output of enemies and their health, which to me isn't technically a hard mode, but hey, I've now played through it, so it'd be a bit hypocritical if I was too critical of hard mode. But, and I enjoyed it thoroughly, I must say. The game is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. It's frustrating. You bang your head against a brick wall quite often. You get lost quite often. Even on my second playthrough, I got lost in a couple of areas. The boss battles, some of the boss battles are a right bitch. They really are infuriating. And this is where I said the other day in a video that had I reviewed this after my first playthrough, it would have gotten a far different review than it's going to get now. Now it's actually going to get quite a positive review. Had I reviewed it just after my first playthrough, it would not have been as positive, because I was really infuriated with a couple of bosses in particular. And the thing about those bosses in particular is it took me a long time to defeat those bosses, and I didn't feel like I was getting any better to defeat them. The second playthrough, I was beating bosses left, right and centre, including the ones I had difficulty before. Despite the fact in hard mode they now have more health and more damage output, I was still annihilating bosses left, right and centre. There were a couple of bosses I got stuck on, obviously. As you do, there's a particular boss in the game that I always seem to get stuck on, that everyone seems to have a breeze with, but that's just the way things go. But on my second playthrough, I was able to beat bosses a lot easier. And that's what I mean by the game teaches you how to play the game better. Like, halfway through my hard mode playthrough, it was like I'd slipped into a comfy pair of slippers and was anything I wanted Samus to do, I could do really easily. And I can see as I play this game more and more, because yes, I'm going to be playing this more and more, it's going to get even easier to play this game. It's going to become even more natural to play with Samus. That sounds a bit wrong, but you know what I mean. And just really get into the game. I do want to maybe down the road start speedrunning this game and seeing if I can get sub 2 hours, I don't know, as a goal at some point, sub 3 hours, what have you. I could probably cut quite a bit of time off that 7 hours, sorry, that I've already done a hard mode. So, you know, I'm probably going to be playing through normal mode from now on, because hard mode to me just seems a bit fake in a way. It's not a true hard mode in my opinion, but different people have differing opinions when it comes to hard mode. The length of the game I think is perfect. Some people have given their opinions when it comes to how hard the game is and how long the game is or short the game is maybe, and whether it's worth the full price tag that it has. It's only 4 gig in size, and some people have turned around and gone, oh, that's barely anything, is it worth the $60, £50 price tag? Yes, Simply put, don't let the fact that the game is apparently short or the game is small in size discourage you from playing the game. The game is bloody awesome and probably my favourite game on the Switch at this point. I know I said that I'll probably go into spoilers at this point, but I can't think if there's anything I want to speak about in particular when it comes to spoilers. The story is what it is. There's nothing too spectacular about the story. There are some revelations when it comes to the story that I actually think are quite funny in ways, but not necessarily, you know, for this video. I'll probably do a separate video at some point about Metroid Dread and the story and spoilers and stuff like that, but I think I'll leave this video as it is. It's just a condensed thoughts and opinions of Metroid Dread. I did go for the special edition, and probably tomorrow's a nice Sunday video. I will unbox this for you guys and show you the goodies you get in the special edition. I really like that back actually. Knowing what happens in the game, that back is amazing actually. Yeah, that's really cool. I really like Samus's suit in this game. Oh, and the front one's cool because it's got the Emmy up there. You've got Samus. Yeah, but I will be doing an unboxing showing off of this probably tomorrow, because it is a nice special edition, especially if you've been a fan of the series for quite some time, which I have. Metroid Fusion is still at this moment my favourite game of all time. I've completed that game more times than I probably am old at this point, which is 33 for context, but I can see this game rising up there. I can definitely see this game rising up there. If you couldn't guess from the way I'm talking, the game's amazing. However, it comes with caveats that it is not an easy game. It's not Nintendo's typical aimed for kids. Fair, kids can play it, there's no problem with that, but it's aimed at a more mature audience. Not that it's a mature as an age rating, mature as in the type of player they want to play it. More teens, maybe adults. It's not really aimed at the kids. You've got your Marios and your Zeldas and your Yoshis and your Kirbys and your all that for that kind of thing. Whereas this is aimed more towards an adult audience in terms of the difficulty of gameplay. So just wanted to put that out there. I've played through it both on normal mode and hard mode, and I don't consider myself that good of a gamer necessarily. So if I managed to get through both those modes and managed to cut 3 hours off the second playthrough, which I still don't understand how I managed to do, then, you know, it is possible to get through it. Anyway guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like or a dislike depending on your feelings. If you want to see more, then hit the big red subscribe button. It's big, it's red, it's free. Don't forget to hit the bell icon. Make sure the quotations are around it, and you receive a video every time, a notification, sorry, every time I upload a video. Until next time guys, please take care, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-ra.